skateboarding.
exactly.
Yeah, interesting because it's actually skateboarding instead of snowboarding, which is a big change.
Yeah, it's a big change. Basically, Shaun wanted us to make a skateboarding game for him because, as you probably know, he's a great skateboarder. He's won numerous medals at the X Games in skateboarding. So he felt it was time for a good skateboarding game with his name to be made. And basically, he wanted us with this game to represent his vision of what skateboarding is. For him, basically, when a skateboarder sees a urban environment, he sees line, he can imagine like, wow, this would be cool if I could link this bench with this statue and do that and that trick. So in this game, basically, we're allowing you to actually transform your environment to make these links and create that cool line that you've imagined.
Which we're talking about and mentioning, I guess the first that's really obvious right on the screen behind us that he's showing off is that as soon as you land a trick or pull off a trick, light and colors and vibrant energy pops into the town and village or city. What was the inspiration behind this? How did this come up?
So it's what we call influence, and philosophically the idea was trying to capture the euphoria that a skater feels when they really nail a trick. And what we were thinking was, imagine if you're walking down the street and you see a skater and he does some amazing trick.
Yeah.
As a pedestrian, you're really interested in that guy. You're like, oh wow, what's he going to do next? He has an impact on you. So it was kind of that, so when you're playing the game, when you do these tricks, you create this wave of influence that affects the world around you. So, on a visual sense, trees will grow, shops will be revived, life and color comes back to the city. But from a gameplay point of view, you affect the people around you, so you have this impact on them. And also, the environment changes, so the ground will pop up to create kickers, or walls will morph into quarter pipes and so on.
What I'm wondering with these rails, it looks like a great concept. How does that, how are you preventing players from just being like, oh, now I can go anywhere I want or do whatever I want from this one rail?
Well, each rail has a limit to its length. You get 30 meters of shaping. So when you start, you know that we as game designers know that there's a certain, a range that the player can go. So obviously we have to have some control over it because technically you could break the game.
Yeah, otherwise you just break everything and go wherever you want with one rail.
But what we're finding is when people play the game, they start getting really creative with the way they're using the shaping. So, some people will go, oh, I want to link this to that, and then I can use the speed that I gained from that to go around, and then I can get a bigger jump and get bigger air to land on that thing. And it ends up with this kind of really unique, personalized skate experience, really based on the player's own skills and how they want to make that environment.
The Wii version is more geared towards strength of the Wii, so for sure the motion controls are big in that game. We've also been focusing on quick to fun game, a game that's very accessible, that you can just play quickly, have fun. Also the multiplayer aspect is there, like you can use the balance board with your friends in your living room, like play with it and have fun.
You use the balance board in the single player as well?
Yes, you can, definitely.
So how does that actually work with the balance board and everything together? How are you trying to incorporate those controls?
Well, basically, if you have the balance board and the Wii remote and the nunchuck, it depends on which map you are, but let's say you're in an exotic map, you control the steering with your balance board, so just like in Shaun White snowboarding, so you're going left and right like this to steer, you're popping in the back of the balance board to ollie, then you use the A and B button to trick, and you can, we've got a bunch of funny features where you can throw bombs at your opponent to hinder him, and you can use the nunchuck for that.
All right, great. And when can we expect the game to be released?
Just this fall at the same time as the next-gen version.